by our founding documents. We know that. It's why you're all here. It's why I am here. This, in and of itself, the fact that we are here, and I realize this may feel empty tonight, doesn't feel empty to me. This is a sign of strength. Because I feel that in these murders of Americans that we're seeing, it is making this a moment when you can no longer pretend that what's happening is an accident. You can no longer pretend that things are going to basically go along and that you don't need to pay attention. And I guess I'm thinking specifically of people with political power, people in Congress, people with local political power.
Who has political power?
At this moment, you have political power. You are Republican.
Professor Freeman has political power.
Particularly in Congress, have the power to do something. If at this moment you do not choose to use that power to do something to stop what is happening, you are declaring that you approve of it. There is no option for silence at this point from people who have political power.
From people who have political power.
Humanity.
Now, obviously, she did qualify that. I think she said by elected congressional. But then, and I need to qualify that I have no greater respect than for Professor Freeman. Joanne Freeman of Yale is a badass. And the work she's been doing, especially in the past 10 years, absolutely the most crucially relevant work to our time as Americans. You know, very detailed reading of the caning of Sumner. In the following, because this was a day ago. It says right here, see, 1 day ago. And today is Monday, January 26th at 2:42 a.m. So I'm not sure what the time, but there's one more recent video of Professor Freeman, and halfway through, so she's got the chat open because she's got a live chat going, and at one point she says, "Oh, there's 1,200 of you right now. That's power." Amen, sister. Amen. So, clearly, Professor Freeman is a leading voice doing what is dignified of a leading voice. And I just feel like I've been talking about the aperture of discourse, and then I compared my idea of the aperture of discourse to Professor Kotkin's idea of widening the aperture of political alternatives. He was speaking in reference to the situation in Iran, but of course there is absolutely tremendous import to our situation here in the United States, because we are at a kind of juncture that looks like a kind of entry or gateway. These are like gateway experiences They kind of loosening the society up for more and more aggressive aggressive interference in the most basic aspects of everyday life for the individual. See, the consolidated authority of the government has a constant pressure, a continuity at the top. I mean, that guy is relentlessly on. So they have continuous pressure. Now, if there's any counterbalance to the continuous pressure, it has to be continuous. And there we have, of course, the virtue of 1,200 people being in a chat room listening to Professor Freeman late at night on a Friday night. So apropos the aperture of discourse, what we're really representing is magnitudes of knowledge. We are being assaulted by illiteracy, a knowledge regime that is bereft of knowledge, which means that every one of us, compared to that bullshit at the top, many of us are literate. Many of us have histories in schools that we took seriously. We have education. There are many of us who have taken knowledge seriously, including any professional. Accountants, doctors, lawyers, holy smokes. Lawyers, you're able to make language tie itself in knots. And nevertheless, the lawyers who represent the grand charlatans, they're able to stand in front of judges and make their word salad. I guess there is always that minimal right to stand in front of a judge and make your word salad. But the word saladness of it, the preposterousness, the shakiness of any possible foundation for any possible sentence that comes out of the mouth of any authority figure right now, that needs to be shoved down their throats relentlessly. Now, that's not necessarily, it doesn't, I think people shrink back. I get kind of shrink back because my approach is very aggressive. Now, it's important to note that all of my aggression is discursive aggression. So, in terms of dialectical agonism, like when it's time for scorched earth, I'm ready. I'm always ready for scorched earth. Especially in matters where we're threatening the very vitality and integrity and existence even of something like the Bill of Rights. From my perspective, if you have political power, you're an intellectual. So all intellectuals now, they have immense political power. And so if we follow Professor Freeman, there's no such thing as sitting on the sidelines now. If you have political power, you are either vocally against what is happening right now, or if you remain silent, then we just guess that you're complicit. But I'm sorry, My dear instructors, my dear teachers, I think that you're all included in that statement.